Well, hello there, and welcome to a new episode, a brand new format for Mashable Conversations. I am your host, Mark Hopkins, with me over there in this corner.
Hello!
Corner.
I'm in one of the corners. Hey, guys.
So we're trying out a new format. This is going to be kind of fun, I think, because one of the things that Mashable Conversations, a name like that, should kind of, incite some conversation. And everybody, we've got a huge subscriber count to the podcast feed. The response was incredible on when we launched the video version, Sean. I think we jumped up, the first day we posted the feed, we had like 400 subscribers.
Wow.
And it took us like 3 weeks to get to that on the audio feed. So I don't know if people are just that excited about video or if Mashable Conversations is that awesome. But the one thing that doesn't happen is that in the comments section on these posts, we don't get a lot of comments. Mm-hmm. So I figured, why not? You and I, you get good comments off of your list posts, and I like to tick people off.
So, really? When did that start happening?
I can't, it's just a mystery.
All that's going to be weird for me is that I'm not doing this in the form of a list.
Yeah.
I feel like
we can bullet point it at the end of the segment, I guess.
Oh, thank you. I feel like I'm home again.
But so that's what we're going to be doing here on Mashable Conversations for a little while. We'll try it out. If it sticks, if people like it, then I guess we'll keep doing it. So
sounds like a plan to me. So what are we going to converse about today, Mark?
We're going to talk about Stan's dig post today. He was doing a little bit of talking about. He was talking about how dig is great, how awesome dig is, despite all the webmaster, I guess, dissatisfaction with it. The idea is that, and I've seen this personally, especially before I was Mashable, and I was trying out the different social bookmarking sites to see what was a better place to spend my time promoting my posts. And dig has got a pretty in my opinion, well-deserved reputation for sending kind of over what are called empty hits.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of, if you make the front page, you'll get a mountain of traffic, but in terms of stickiness of those hits, they disappear. You're not going to get new subscribers to your blog typically from dig traffic. Those people are very much less likely to click on your ads, which, especially if you're running like Google AdSense, that's a pretty big deal because your cost per click is how you make your bread and butter. And so, for a lot of bloggers, a lot of webmasters, they don't write for dig anymore because they're just not pleased with the end result. Stan has some. I understand you kind of take Stan's side on this, but Stan has a different opinion on it.
Well, my thinking is, I think it was always a mistake to write for dig. If you're writing specifically to get onto dig, to get that dig traffic, and then they don't stick, well, you kind of did it to yourself. You were not writing for your core audience. You were not writing for the reason you started your blog. And I think the way I've always viewed dig, at least with my personal blog, is if I get some dig traffic, hey, it's a bonus to me. That's not why I wrote the post in the first place. If enough people liked it, great. Come on over. Hopefully you'll stick around. If you don't, you don't. But the idea of writing specifically with dig in mind, trying to get that magical dig front page, I think that was where everyone made their mistake to begin with.
Yeah, I guess. It's one of many methods to try to get, and it all depends on your motivations for why you're blogging. If you're, a lot of people, the vast majority, I would say, probably blog for themselves, which is, I did that for many years, and I accrued maybe 30 or 40 hardcore readers just because they were voyeurs, I guess. For some perverted reason, wanted to see what's going on in my life. But in terms of when I decided, hey, let's see what we can do about making a profession of this. You've got to reach some sort of elevated status.
Yeah.
And dig, for the uninitiated, I think at least becomes an attractive option for that. And you can, at least for a short period of time, game dig. You can game, to a certain extent, you can game some of the other things. You can even game other bloggers. Writing for Scoble, and more recently, I guess, writing for Louis Gray is one way to get noticed. Mm-hmm. And I would argue probably, I mean, for the tech sector anyway, more effective in terms of getting a long-term engaged reader.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, but again, I think you also hit the nail on the head. It's totally about why you're blogging. If you're trying to become, the next pro blogger, or you're trying to monetize your blog in any way, then yeah, you're going to want the sticky hits. But the vast majority of people out there are just writing to write. The internet's great for that. It gives them an outlet to get their opinion out there, get their purpose out there. And that's why I think Dig is such a great system. It's great for those type of bloggers. But I will agree, it's probably not great for those that are totally monetizing, that want to make a bunch of money off of AdSense. No, because these people are just going to come in, read the story, leave. They're probably not even going to comment. They're not going to do anything for your traffic except for a one-day blip. But I still don't think you should throw the baby out with the bathwater. Dig is, eyeballs are eyeballs. Even if one person comes out of that traffic and sticks with your blog, hey, it's one more than you had yesterday.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's true. I guess in terms of where you kind of get a little bit of a dichotomy with Dig, is that, I mean, I'm sure you've seen this happen several times. You go to a Doug story and the guy isn't a pro blogger. It's a matter of minutes before he hits the front page and then pops his bandwidth contract.
Yeah.
And it's a mixed blessing for those kind of guys to get Doug.
Yeah, exactly. Because unfortunately, when that does happen, then the Dig readers go, oh well, this wasn't worth my time, and they'll never come back, because first impressions are everything. So yeah, that is a problem. That is, I think though that's probably happening a little bit less due to just enormous amounts of bandwidth that hosts are giving out now. But yeah, that was definitely an issue there for quite a while.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of other topics we could go into on this subject too, because Stan goes into a little bit of the aspects of comment fragmentation, which is a hot topic amongst the elite set of bloggers these days.
Just a tiny bit.
It's an interesting topic, because he says that when you're a digger, you're cruising around the site, the people that don't come over and comment on the site, they tend to do the comments on Dig, which interestingly enough, and we've noted this before when we've gotten buzzed from Yahoo Buzz, is that's the opposite is true with them for some reason. I guess because Yahoo Buzz doesn't offer commenting. Now that I think of it.
Yeah, that could be it.
But in terms of the comment fragmentation, that's almost a completely different topic. But if you're interested in that, Stan goes into that in his article.
Yeah. It's definitely something that everybody should be considering, with friend feed and Dig and Twitter and everything else. Comments are all over the place, and that we could spend an entire day on discussing what's going to happen with comment fragmentation.
Right. Well, in terms of further discussion on this, we've just kind of wet your whistle on it. We don't have a whole lot of time to go into deep discussion, but hopefully you've got some thoughts on this. Go ahead and I guess leave them in the comment section on this blog. Boy, this is not shameless self-promotion at all, is it?
No, not at all.
No. But no, go ahead and leave them in the comment section of this blog. We might bring them up on a later show. I mean, we haven't really ironed out that format yet, but I mean, if you've got something interesting to say, we'd like to highlight it, and so that would be a good place to put it. That'll get our attention.
Yep.
And in terms of what's next, we have Ryan Newell, right? Isn't that his name?
Yes, Ryan Newell of Sister Hazel.
Sister Hazel.
Yes, and he's going to be discussing iVideosongs with us today, a way for you to download podcasts and learn how to play guitar right in your home from the artists who perform the songs.
Mm-hmm. Also, I mean, and it's an interesting topic. I mean, we didn't really get into I don't think we're going to have time to get into it with Ryan because of the time limitations and the fact that Tim, their CEO over at iVideosongs, is going to be able to join us today. But it's an interesting concept to kind of look into if you're a video, any kind of podcast producer, because iVideosongs is a podcast that you pay for, and they're doing very well with that. They're one of the most subscribed to podcasts on iTunes. So.
Yep. Should be a good conversation.
Very good. Yeah, we'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Mashable Conversations. Today we're speaking with Ryan Newell of Sister Hazel. Ryan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Just fine. Thank you very much. Also with us is my co-host, Mark. Mark, what exactly are we talking about today? Is this, it's unusual for us to bring a member of a band onto the show.
Well, I mean, it's happened a couple of times, but what we're talking about today is a startup called iVideosongs, and if you scroll back, way back in the audio podcast archives, we spoke with Tim Huffman, who is just an interesting guy. He's got a kind of an interesting personal history that goes back with music, involving some Grammys and lots of cool stories with names you recognize. And the idea behind iVideosongs is that they take artists like Ryan and others that will kind of walk you through how to play the music the way I guess they kind of intended it to be played. And they also go into stories about the history of the band and stuff, that sort of thing. It was just interesting listening to Tim's stories, talking about his experiences with some other people, that whenever Tim called me saying, hey, Ryan Newell, lead singer for Sister Hazel, he's been working with us. Would you like to talk to him and hear some from like an artist perspective? I thought, hey, why not? It's pretty cool. It's a podcast that you can download, and it's one of the most, in terms of being a podcast different from the rest, it's one that you pay for, and it's so popular that people do pay for it in large droves. So that makes it pretty unique in the business. So that's the backstory on iVideosongs.
Okay.
Tim would have been here to explain all that, but he was having some technical difficulties with his phone.
Right.
So that brings everybody up to speed, so you can move forward from here with Ryan.
Okay. Well, Ryan, as we said, you're from Sister Hazel. How would our listeners be familiar with your band?
Well, Sister Hazel's been around for about 15 years, and we've had a couple songs on the radio. Probably the one that most people would recognize is a song called "All for You." That was pretty big in the late '90s, and we've put out 6 records. We just put out a record last week called "Before the Amplifiers," which is a broken down acoustic record. And we're a touring band. We're constantly touring and playing shows all over the world.
Okay. And how did you get involved with iVideosongs?
Well, I was contacted by Tim Huffman, and we have a mutual friend in town in Atlanta, and they're based out of Atlanta, so it was kind of a hometown thing. And he just called me up and asked to go to lunch, and we talked to him a lot about some artists that I knew that I could bring to the table, and he was really interested in me doing one of their videos as well. So we hooked up about 2 months ago, and I went to their main office, and we set up in there, and they've had the cameras and the all the guitars and amps and all kinds of equipment and stuff. And basically, it's very conversational how-to guitar lesson on how to play our music. And I transcribed both the acoustic and electric versions of All For You, one song, and another song, Change Your Mind.
Okay. So you're doing your own songs with the company then? Because I know some musicians come in and they do other artists' tracks.
Yeah, they have some staff teachers there too that do other people's tracks. But the thing that's really exciting about the iVideo tunes lessons is a lot of times they have the actual artists showing you how to play the song exactly the way they play it.
Right.
And one of the artists that Tim sent me a bunch of examples, so I knew what to get used to. He sent me one of Alex Lifeson from Rush, and I was a huge Rush fan, so I was immediately, fired up about the whole concept. Just to be able to go online and have the actual your actual guitar hero show you how to play the song instead of, back when I was learning how to play, you trying to slow your records down with your finger.
Yes.
But
Yes.
This way, you have the actual artist there telling you, their thought process on what they were thinking when they wrote it, and
Mm-hmm.
and how to play it exactly the way they play it. So it's really exciting.
Did you find an odd experience to have to slow your own, it's your own work, so did it feel weird to have to slow it down and explain it step by step?
Especially for me, the guitar solos, actually. I'm very improvisational when it comes to soloing. I never analyze it and break it down and actually write it. I just kind of play something that feels good, and then once it's recorded, it's about 50-50. Stuff that I play that's exactly the same, and then stuff that I kind of make up as I go along. And when you're playing it really slow, you're definitely not in the same headspace as you are when you've got the full band behind you and all the things that inspire you to improvise. So yeah, it was a little tricky, and I literally had to study the song and relearn the actual solo that I played 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing like, learning something for yourself as you go along with
Right.
teaching others.
It's part of the process. And there was even one song where they said, just improvise a solo and that'll be it. We'll just, you don't, because we didn't, we basically transcribed a live one that I did in the actual, in their studio. So I would improvise it and then break it down, so I wouldn't have to try to transcribe something that I did a long time ago. It would be something that I did just then,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So was it an experience you enjoyed? Would it be something you'd be willing to do again?
Oh, yes. We talked about doing a lot more songs.
Mm-hmm.
The two songs that I did do were kind of beginner to intermediate. And I was telling Tim that I would love to get into some of the songs that are a little bit more difficult, a little bit more of a challenge for me to play. And that would, it would be a little bit more fun for people that maybe taken an interest into Sister Hazel or my guitar playing and want to go to the next level. So we've set up, kind of an ongoing invitation to come in there and transcribe some more songs, and I also did a couple technique lessons. I played a lot of slide guitar in the band, and they wanted me to go through and explain, the different ways that I play slide, and they filmed, they have 3 cameras, one on each hand, and then one on your face, so they can, not only do the interview with you, but show the actual techniques that you're using with your hands. Right. So I plan on doing some more lessons as well as songs.
Now, since there was a camera on your face, were you also giving them, the guitar solo face, throwing the head back? And...
Well, like an advanced lesson to me.
Yeah, that's the advanced lesson.
Okay.
No, but it's kind of strange because they have the guitar bolted down, so you're not moving it around, so you don't move out of the camera frame. So, it's about as comfortable as it can get staying in the camera frame, but it's still, it takes a lot of getting used to, so it's more of you kind of concentrate a little more than you normally would. So the guitar faces, I think, are pretty minimal.
Well,
Hey, Ryan, I got a question for you, Ryan. In terms of how this, one of the things that Tim mentioned when we talked was that the engagement factor for the fans, that it was just something that really kind of gave the fans a side that they didn't ever see before the artists. So I'm curious as to if you've gotten much response from your fan base or from folks that or avid follows your song. Have you gotten some of that kind of unique feedback?
Well, on my fans, they love it. They absolutely love it because I'm constantly getting messages on our message board. You know, how do you play this song or how do you play that song? And if you go online, you can go to different websites online, and there's all kinds of people that have posted transcriptions to the song, and about 80% of them are wrong. So they're just excited that it's the end-all, be-all. This is how you play the song, period. You know, no questions asked. It's from the artist, and there's no other interpretation. Because on the guitar, you can play the same note, you know, in 8 different places on the neck. So you can play these songs in different positions in different areas all over the neck, and you're never quite sure if you're playing it exactly the way the artist is playing it. And this way you can see exactly how they're doing it, and you know, it kind of takes the mystery out of it, which is a good thing for a guitar player. So the reaction has been great, where they, you know, people have always said, you know, I thought I knew how to play that song, but I've been playing this part different the whole time. You know, it's cool to see exactly how it's done. So.
Well, that's great.
Cool. So,
yeah. Well, and it's good to hear that's something you'd be willing to do again, so obviously it was a rewarding experience for you.
Right. I'm sorry, you broke up there.
No problem. I was just saying, since you said you were willing to do it again, obviously it was a rewarding experience for you.
Oh, it's a wonderful experience. Like I said earlier, I was a fan before I even did my contribution to the project. Tim sent me a bunch of videos they had already done, and you know, I felt like a kid again. I was, you know, learning. I grabbed my guitar and was like, oh, I never knew how to play that, you know, and you know, went back and relearned some stuff that I thought I knew. So I was a fan. I was really excited to be a part of it, and the guys there at the company were really friendly and easy to work with. I did an interview with Tim after we did the guitar recording. We just, you know, talked guitars and music on an interview, and he said, you know, it'll be like the 10-minute interview, and we ended up talking for about 40 minutes just because we were having such a good time.
Right.
So the experience was great, and everyone there's a musician and fired up about music and gear and all that stuff. So it's just, you know, a bunch of guitar heads in there, you know, musos as they call them. And we had a blast. It was fun, and they're really easy to work with, and it was a great experience.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Mark, do you have any follow-up questions?
You know, that's about all that I have, other than our catch-all question for Ryan here about, you know, was there any questions you wanted to answer that we forgot to ask you?
You know, I think we covered everything. I mean, we came out with a new record last week called Before the Amplifier.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had some stuff to plug, a site or a preferred place to get your music from.
Well, our website is sisterhazel.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you can get anything you want there, and we have you know, a whole community there in different events. We have charities, we have cruises that we do, we have all kinds of stuff, and you can connect to all of it at sisterhazel.com.
Okay. Well, Ryan,
cool. And of course, you can get the interviews and the how-tos over at iVideosongs. You can get that. You just look for it on iTunes. Probably look it up by your name and your band name, right?
Right. Ryan Newell, Sister Hazel. Yes.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you for joining us, Ryan.
All right.
Very much so. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.